It isn't fun to be struggling with your wife's past. And in many ways, there's never been a better or worse time to be struggling with your wife's past. Let me explain. Unlike decades earlier, with the advent of the internet, the average retroactive jealousy sufferer can find a wealth of information on the topic. And while it's true that there is a lot of garbage concerning retroactive jealousy on the internet, there's also a growing amount of quality information available online. Before the internet, the vast majority of retroactive jealousy sufferers were forced to deal with their confusing condition in isolation, and thus failed to get the guidance they needed to overcome retroactive jealousy, or so I imagine. However, the internet is also one of the worst things to ever happen to retroactive jealousy sufferers. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You see an unfamiliar friend request, post, picture, or message appear on your wife's Facebook account. You click on the profile of this new guy, start going through their profile details, and 2 hours later you're still sorting through old photos, scanning for traces of your wife's past, and trying desperately to figure out how this person fits in your wife's past life. You wonder, did they ever sleep together? Is he flirting with her? How does this guy even know my wife? How does he fit into my wife's past? What did they do together? I need answers. I exaggerate, but you get the point. Every month, I get at least a couple of emails from retroactive jealousy sufferers who can't seem to stop looking for details about their partner's past on social media, or stalking their partner on social media to see if she or he is keeping in touch with their ex. Now, we all know that social media can be addictive, but what's worse, it can also be extremely detrimental to the recovery of people dealing with retroactive jealousy. It's easy to lose hours, days, or even weeks to Facebook, sorting through old details like some second-rate detective, trying to piece together your wife's past relationship and/or sexual history with the available online evidence. Many retroactive jealousy sufferers write to me to ask questions like, how do I stop stalking my wife's past on Facebook? How do I stop myself from seeking out details about my wife's past on Instagram? How do I stop myself from looking for clues about my wife's past relationships online? Even if you're not stalking anyone on social media, if you deal with retroactive jealousy, it's useful to consider your online habits with care and avoid negative patterns that can support or even embolden your retroactive jealousy, delaying your recovery. So, if you're dealing with retroactive jealousy and think there might be details of your wife's past on social media, it would be a good idea to keep the following in mind next time you log on. And as always, please take my advice with a grain of salt. Number 1. In general, the less time spent on social media, the better. And don't give me the excuse that you need to use social media as part of your work or to keep an eye on your kids or whatever. I'm sure even Mark Zuckerberg could stand to spend less time on Facebook. Aside from being a serious time waster, with social media there's always the risk of seeing some picture, name, or post that can inspire some new mental movie or some other type of retroactive jealousy flare up. As you probably know, it doesn't take much to inspire more intrusive thoughts, depression, and curiosity as it relates to your wife's past. So in the early stage of overcoming retroactive jealousy, I think it's always a good idea to steer clear of potential triggers. And there's almost certainly no bigger depository of potential triggers regarding your wife's past than something like Facebook. If you find the temptation too great, there are a number of software tools you can use to limit your time on social media. You may want to check out Cold Turkey, Antisocial, or Rescue Time. I've used Rescue Time in the past and found it very helpful. Number 2. Your partner has a right to keep in touch with whomever she or he wants, just like you. Many retroactive jealousy sufferers, including myself when I suffered from retroactive jealousy years ago, tend to get indignant when they see their partner has added an ex as a friend on social media. For obvious reasons, retroactive jealousy sufferers tend to get touchy regarding the issue of their partner keeping in touch with people from their past. Some retroactive jealousy sufferers even attempt to ban their partner from keeping in touch with anyone from their past. Unlike in previous generations, there's a very real chance that you'll maintain some form of contact with old friends and lovers for the rest of your life, even as you change schools, jobs, cities, or even countries. Which is to say, welcome to the 21st century. We're living in an unprecedented new era of human interconnectedness, and I would estimate that the majority of social media users are going to maintain some kind of connection with their exes for the foreseeable future. Now you might wonder, but Zach, I don't keep in touch with my exes. Why then is it okay for my partner? Because your partner is not you and may have a completely different viewpoint than you when it comes to keeping in touch with their ex. The fact is, most people, especially people in their 20s and 30s who grew up with the internet, see no problem with keeping in touch with their ex on social media. For most men and women, it's simply a non-issue. And you telegraph insecurity when you try to turn it into a big deal. There's a good chance that your partner maintains, at the most, no more than a passing interest in their ex's life on social media. Even more likely is that your partner is simply being polite by keeping them as a friend on Facebook. So try to relax on this issue as much as possible. Point number 3. That said, communicate your boundaries and never tolerate disrespect. If you're in an exclusive relationship, of course there's a difference between remaining friends with an ex on social media and maintaining a flirtatious, inappropriate relationship with an ex on social media. So if you feel like your partner is crossing lines when it comes to keeping in touch with their ex, it might be worth having a conversation with them about their social media habits. But instead of complaining or being needy, state your feelings on the matter as cleanly as possible. Be honest, be direct, and make it clear regarding what is okay with you and what is not, and why. Of course, I can't tell you what is appropriate online behavior for your partner and what isn't. That's ultimately up to your partner. All I can advise you to do is be honest with your partner about your boundaries and values and make every effort to communicate them. If after that you still feel that your partner is violating your boundaries, either online or offline, it might be time to reevaluate the relationship. Point number 4. The block feature is your friend. Depending on the severity of your retroactive jealousy, it might be worth blocking your partner's ex from your social media account. This will hopefully ensure that you don't encounter their name or picture randomly on your newsfeed, and thus will help to prevent triggers relating to your partner's past. It will be extra satisfying after you overcome retroactive jealousy and realize one day in the future that you completely forgot you blocked them in the first place. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media platforms have the block feature built in. In conclusion, if you're suffering from retroactive jealousy, you can use the challenge of social media as an opportunity to grow stronger. You'll know you have your retroactive jealousy beat when you see your wife's ex's Facebook profile and barely give it any attention. You'll know you're a retroactive jealousy Jedi master, so to speak, when you see an old picture of your partner with his or her ex and don't even flinch. Because you've seen through the noise and made the determination that your wife's past doesn't conflict with your values. You're moving forward. Like any other challenge as it relates to retroactive jealousy, you can use the presence of your partner's ex on social media as motivation to grow stronger. So although you may choose to block your partner's ex for a while, keep in the back of your mind that if you put in the work, one day in the not too distant future, seeing them on social media really won't get to you. So take this opportunity right now to set a new goal for yourself. Tell yourself that you're going to overcome retroactive jealousy no matter what, so that someday soon you won't give a second thought to seeing details of your wife's past on Facebook. If you put in the necessary work, you'll overcome retroactive jealousy much sooner and more easily than you probably realize right now. And before you know it, you'll be able to log into your social media accounts without a care in the world. Thanks for watching. If you'd like more information about overcoming retroactive jealousy, please click the link in the description.